Greetings, Mike Pachelli here. Thanks for tuning into this lesson. I'm going to be talking about I'll Be Back as recorded by the Beatles on June 1st, 1964. Now in May of 64, John Lennon was on vacation with his wife Cynthia and George Harrison and his new girlfriend Pattie Boyd. They were all in Tahiti, and John was writing some songs for their upcoming album. He was inspired by Del Shannon's Runaway, which has the same chords. I mean, if you listen to the record, actually, Del Shannon, they sped it up and it sounds like it's in B flat, but it's actually recorded in A minor, like I'll Be Back. Runaway goes, it's like, as I walk alone, I wonder what went wrong. I don't know the words. So those are the basic chords for I'll Be Back, and that was inspiration. And fun facts to know and tell, they had toured with Dale about a year before, and Dale wanted to do them a favor, so he recorded a version of From Me to You about a month after the Beatles did it, and they were both were competing for the same song. The Beatles' release and Del Shannon's release was competing on the charts. Del's did okay. I think the Beatles did a little better. Any road, they go into EMI Studios on June 1st, like I said, and George Martin wanted them to do I'll Be Back in 6/8 time, like some kind of weird waltz. And they tried it a couple times like that, but it was a complete nightmare. There's odd measures I'll talk about in a minute, and Ringo was having a heck of a time, and John couldn't sing it. So luckily they scrapped that idea, got it back into 4/4 time, like we know the song. Altogether they did 16 takes, I think about 9 and then 7 with overdubs. John doubled his rhythm guitar on it, and George played his great nylon string riff. And once again, George comes up with that great riff in I'll Be Back right on the spot in the studio. Probably the first time he's hearing the song, and he comes up with this signature riff that's just simple and absolutely brilliant, and I don't think you could hear the song without that riff. And it's an odd tune because you can write it, I write it on my charts in the key of A. You can write it in A or A minor because it's in A minor when they're singing on the verses, but it always resolves to A major, which was a little different than Del Shannon's Runaway. Plus the verses are odd in that they're 6 measures long. There's 6 measures of the verse. There's 2 bridges. The first bridge is 6.5 measures, which means there's 6 measures of 4/4 and then 1 measure of 2/4, which is odd. And the second bridge is 9.5 measures, which there's 9 measures of 4/4, then a measure of 2/4. And this was a thing that John Lennon did naturally. He wasn't understanding, beats and measures and stuff. He just had a natural sense of timing. And if he felt like, well, I need to cut this off here and cut 2 beats off a measure to get to the next part, he just did it naturally. And he kept doing that for his entire career. Odd measures and songs like All You Need Is Love and so many other things. So it's pretty impressive. And another fun fact to know and tell, they were going to record more songs. I'll Be Back ends up on Hard Day's Night, the UK version. There's 13 songs on that record. They wanted 14, but like 2 days later, that's when Ringo got tonsillitis and had to go to the hospital, and then they had to quickly audition Jimmy Nicol, like in a 3-hour session, to get him ready to go on world tour. So Hard Day's Night, which I consider the real album, the British release, only has 13 songs. What else? It was released on July 10th on Parlophone, that's Hard Day's Night, and we didn't hear it in America until, I think it was December 15th, 64, on a record called Beatles 65. They were pretty clever getting those albums released right before Christmas, so everybody had to have one for Christmas. They never played I'll Be Back live, and even when they did BBC Radio, they never featured it on BBC Radio. It's just a great song, but for some reason they didn't include it in their live act ever. So it's nice and simple too. I think this is going to be a lesson that all levels can enjoy, and I think that's enough of the backstory, so let's get started. John Lennon is playing his trusty Gibson J160E on I'll Be Back, and to play the intro and the verse you'll need these simple chords: an A, that, A minor, you'll need a G6th, voice like this, an F major 7th, and an E. Those are the chords that'll get you through the intro and the verse. Verses, actually. The intro is just 3 measures long, and there's a couple of anticipations, which means you start on the end of 4 of the first measure, and there's very few anticipations. Sometimes they sing on the end of 4, but they're for the most part playing on the downbeat throughout the song, so pay attention to that. And I should mention the harmonies are so great. John and Paul do a great job, and George pretty much keeps a high sustaining E on the harmony, and it's just beautiful, which I'll do my best later. Okay, so to play the intro, let's have Mr. Metronome help us out. You count 4. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're into the verse. It's that easy. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the verse starts. Okay? Next, on the second verse, you'll play that A minor on the downbeat. So during the verses, again, the rhythm is pretty much just 2 quarter notes and 4 eighth notes. And John is using, the round part of a pick like he does, and he does play loose, and when he double tracks himself, you can see there's a little difference, but for the most part, it's just 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. So on a verse, and I'll start this one on a downbeat, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Just simple strumming, nice and easy, and really fun to do. Okay, so now on a bridge, first bridge, actually, you'll need these chords. You'll need an F sharp minor. You'll need a B minor. You have the E already, and you'll need a D. All right. So again, this bridge is 6.5 measures long. 6 measures of 4/4, and then the last measure is 2/4. Let me play it for you. Here's the bridge. First bridge, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Right? So that was the last measure. To slow that down, again, I'm playing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 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 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3, and 4, and 2, and then you're there. Charts and tabs available at mikepachelli.com if you want to get it crystal clear. That's the way to do it. So let me play one verse for you into that first bridge. I think maybe you'll hear it better. Like this. This be the second verse. 2, 3, 4. Boom. Verse. Got that? So fun. A word about some of these chords in these chord books. You'll see if you look up "I'll Be Back" in most standard Beatles chord books, they'll put a C right before the G in the second measure of a verse. They'll put something like. But trust me, none of the Beatles played that C. Back in those days, if someone sang a C, they usually played a C, but the Beatles had great ears. They didn't necessarily have to be playing every single chord because they were singing the note. So take note of that. All right, third and fourth verse are just like the first and second. The second bridge is 9.5 measures long, and you'll need you need B minor. You'll need C sharp minor. You've already got that F sharp minor. You'll need a B7, and then the D to E, D, D thing. So the second bridge, 9.5 measures, like this. Whoa. And pretty much, stop Mr. Music, thank you. Pretty much straight eighths on this one. You know, he accents various, pretty much for the most part, he's accenting on 2 and 4. And pretty much just straight strumming. So it goes like this. 2, 3, 4. And the only difference is at the very end, he goes, just like the beginning, variates between the A and the A minor, you know. I'll be back. And those are all the chords you need to play I'll Be Back, just like John Lennon. George Harrison plays his Ramirez nylon string guitar on I'll Be Back. I'm using a Garcia, made in 1970 back in Spain. Love this guitar. And he comes up with this great riff or phrase, whatever you want to call it. It's based on the 6th, 9th, and 5th of the chord A. So he plays, slides it down to A, plays it again, slides it down to A minor. Now, I think it's best to play these notes with your second and third finger on the D and G string respectively. Think of how you play an A minor chord, right? Pick up your first finger, slide that up 2 frets, and those are the notes with an open E string. Slide it down, put your pinky to get the A chord. Play it again, slide it down, play A minor, right? And George starts on the on beat 3, and the chords are anticipated, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the chord is. So it's 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just such a beautiful riff, you know. I mean, like I say, you can't think of any other riff that would be in this song and it would make it any better. Okay, now you can tell that he didn't play that riff when they were doing the rhythm section. He just played the chords that I'm about to show you and the rhythm that I'm about to show you. But we can put both parts together and get one George Harrison part, because that's what we do. So during the verse, he's down to the A, plays A minor, all right, and he plays his G6 like this. Now, because if you listen really good, you could hear you could hear this D. You could hear 2 Ds in his G6, right? And then when he gets to his F major 7th, he plays chord note triplets. So he goes, so George Harrison, and then an E, and then back to the lick, riff. All right, so let me play a verse. It's fun. I'll play the intro on the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just such a simple part, but it's just absolutely perfect. Just perfect. Okay, now on the first bridge, he plays, that's that 6.5 measure bridge. He plays F sharp minor, and he just always strums through it. He's playing whole notes. So he strums, and again, this is what he did when John was doing his busy rhythm part. So he plays F sharp minor. He plays it again. Strums through B minor. Strums it again. E. Now the first time he just plays chords. He plays D to E, D to E. Back to A minor. All right, let me play a verse into that. This will be the second verse. So. Now he's into the third verse. Now this G6 he plays differently. He plays like this. Voice like that. So it's a little crazy one. You have to kind of mute the A string. So you got same thing on the F major to the E and the A. So the third and fourth verse are like 3, 4. Just a wonderful part. Once again, George Harrison at such a young age, being such a mature lead guitar player, letting John's part just move the song along and just playing these little accent parts to just make the song perfect. Okay, now on bridge 2, that's the 9.5 measure bridge. He's thinking about the jazz move they've used a lot, you know, where they go. But he doesn't play all that. He plays just single notes. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 to C sharp minor. And then the second C sharp minor he plays on beat 2. F sharp minor on beat 1. Now on this B, he just plays a power B. You can hear just those notes. Strums through a D. Strums, big strum on an E. And then he plays this riff. So just D, C sharp, B, E, twice. And he uses that riff again on the first bridge instead of playing chords. So that's that. Let me play. I'll play like the fourth verse into the second bridge. 2, 3, 4. Verse 5 now. Okay, and then again, the only difference is that because they basically play verse 1 and 2 over again, and they play the bridge 1 over again with the riff I showed you, and then verse 3, and then the ending is just repeat like measures 1 to 4. So he's repeating between for the fade. Just again, such a tasty George Harrison part. I just love George's playing. Okay, I put it all together for a reference for you. You can watch all the parts together. This one was so simple, I played the drums on this one because Ringo just pretty much plays straight time on it, so I tended to do that. And again, I say use it as a reference, play along all these parts, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. So here we go.
If you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again. 'Cause I told you once before goodbye, but I came back again. I love you so, I'm the one who wants you. Yes, I'm the one who wants you. Find better things to do than to break my heart again. This time I will try to show that I'm not trying to pretend. I thought that you would realize that if I ran away from you, that you would want me to. But I got a big surprise. You could find better things to do than to break my heart again. This time I will try to show that I'm not trying to pretend. I wanna go, but I hate
I certainly hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you take my advice, learn John and George's parts, and then play along with my sound alike, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. If you'd like to drop me a line, do so at MikePachelli.com, and that's where all the charts and tabs are for all my video lessons. And remember, when you play these old Beatles songs, when you play guitar in general, have fun doing it, because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. I'm Mike Pachelli, and until next time, thanks for hanging out with me.
No, if you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again.